Hello, my name is Bryce Tubbs. On today's episode with me is Tien. She helps performance-driven career women awaken their zone of genius and stand out from the crowd. I'm super excited to be able to share her story with you guys and tell her about a cool 5-day challenge she has going on a little bit later. Thank you so much, Jean.
Thanks, Bryce, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you for today.
Excellent. Um, Everybody has a story. Everybody has a past and where they've come from. Can you talk a little bit about what life was like before you started helping out the career-driven woman, and what is life like now, and what caused you to really get into this field?
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to tell the story of my corporate midlife crisis that I experienced about 3 years ago, because that's really what drove me to make the changes in my life that helped me to get to where I am today and working with the clients that I do. And basically, I grew up in a very strict household, right? My parents were immigrants. They came from Taiwan, and I wasn't born here, but I was raised here, and grew up in a very strict household where my parents basically expected me to live these dreams that they had, that they had for us, right? They brought us here to live the American dream, and so they wanted to make sure that we did that. And so it was very strict. It was very much, you have to go and do this, and this is what success means, and you have to be a professional, and make more money. And so they don't, so that, and they did it out of love. There's no, like, I don't have any ill will or, dislike of my parents because of it. They pushed us so that we don't have to suffer the way that they did. This is what they knew. This was what they had dreamed for us. And so it was very much a one-minded, very narrow focus in terms of when I was growing up. It was getting great grades, getting into an Ivy League school, getting the right job, becoming a professional for a career perspective. And then I was doing all of that. And what happened then about 3 years ago, things weren't really going well, in my terms. Like, things weren't progressing in my career the way that I had wanted to when I first entered into finance, etc. But then it did start to pick up. But then 3 years ago, I just woke up every morning and I just hated the thought of having to go to work, to get on the train, to go to work, and then to come back and do the same thing. So it was literally a rinse and repeat cycle. And it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I was having any fun. And I couldn't imagine doing that for the rest of my life. And so what I ended up doing was I started into the self-development, self-awareness path through like a concept of understanding spirituality, which at the end of the day, to me, is all about personal development and awareness. And then it just kind of led me into understanding that what we're going through, what I was going through, is a lot of what other women are going through too, especially in corporate. We are kind of programmed to do certain things and to take care of everybody else, and we always end up putting ourselves at the end of it. We don't realize, nor have we taken a lot of time to really go in and to look at what it is that we want to do, what it is that lights us up. And so that is what my goal is. That is what my purpose is that I help women who have achieved success already, but then woke up one morning to say, like, oh my gosh, is this really all there is? There has to be more to life than this. And I help them realize that there is. I help them achieve all of that, like that career that they've always wanted, where they find what they term as balance, what they find, like more joy, more love, and they're able to bring that in without sacrificing career projections or income, because that's what happens to so many of us, is that we get tied to these golden handcuffs, right? And then we're afraid to make any movements outside. But at the same time, we also realize that money isn't the cure-all that we thought or that we were told it would be.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this question. So people who might be feeling, burned out, might run down, what can they start to do to start, looking and becoming more aware of either what's causing it or what they should do as a result of that feeling?
Yeah. So from my experience, what I've gathered is that when people are starting to feel burnt out, that means that they're really pushing themselves and they're pushing themselves to achieve certain things. And what and what really has to happen is that in order for them to start understanding why they're feeling burnt out, it's to look at why they're pushing themselves so hard, right? It's what is that fear that's keeping them from continuously pushing themselves so hard. And for a lot of people in corporate or in business, it's this limiting belief that if you don't work hard, you won't achieve anything. You can't make more money. You won't be successful. And so people keep pushing because they're afraid of losing something. They're afraid of being something, you know? And so it's always looking like kind of peeling. We always call it the onion, the healing onion, because you start peeling the layers of the onion back, and you just want to keep asking yourself, but why am I doing this? But why am I feeling that way? But why is it, you know, that I have this belief that if I don't work hard, you know, that I'm not going to make more money? And a lot of times it's not even our own belief. It's what we've been told. Because as I mentioned earlier on, like my parents came here, that's the belief that they had when they brought, you know, when they came here and they raised us, and that was the belief that I was told. Well, if you don't work hard, you know, you're not going to be successful, and so you have to study hard, you have to do this, you have to be perfect. But all of that, if you really look at it, it's a lot of fear driven.
Let's touch on the fear. So like, let's say that they've actually figured out, you know, what's causing it, and they've gotten down to that bottom why. What can they do to either, you know, start getting past that fear that might hold them from taking action towards it?
Yeah,
You know, switch
absolutely.
angles.
Okay, absolutely. And that's such a great question, Bryce, because a lot of times what happens is that people get stuck in the fear and they don't know how to get out of it, right? So the way that you get out of it is you start to dissect the fear. Number one, ask yourself, where did this fear come from? Because and how did it get here, right? Like, what created this fear? Now, is it because someone told you this was going to happen? And that someone can be society, that someone can be parents, someone can be nannies or childcare. It could be anybody around you, right? And then, or did it come from a personal experience? But if it came from a personal experience, this is actually where the complexities come in too. Those personal experiences, what happened? Are you the same person back then, right? And you start dissecting them and you start countering them. Meaning, if this was somebody else's fears, do you believe in this? Has anything happened in your life that has shown that this isn't true, right? And if this was your own experience, you want to take a look at what happened back then, and are you the same person now? So those are just like really basic steps and kind of thought processes that they can start to use to be able to dismantle the fears. And then what they want to start doing is bringing in the beliefs in themselves, the positive reinforcement, the why, like understanding their why and understanding their power. And this is super important too, because we are all empowered. We all have everything that we need in order for us to be able to achieve the next step. But it's helping, I guess it's like, and my role here too is like, it's helping to understand what it is that you have that will get you there, the tools that you already possess inside. And that's for you to figure it out, right? Because I can tell you, Bryce, I can say, hey, Bryce, you're super great at interviews, and that is your superpower. That's your super talent. But you may never realize that, right? You may say, well, this is just something I do for fun and it's not really great, but because it comes so naturally to you. But if you start to dig in and understand, yeah, this is really what I'm really great at. And you know what? I wasn't this great at it before because I hadn't developed it or I hadn't done the necessary work to get to where I am today. Yes, your experiences will be different. So it's absolutely taking what you have and being able to dismantle that to keep moving forward.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting that you talked about. It's almost like the two mindsets, the growth mindset versus the mindset where you think that it's just the way it is. That's interesting. You know,
Yes. Yep.
so I think that's really interesting that when you work with people, you peel back the onion first. So do you think it's easier for someone to build a better habit and like a strength, or to first go back and, you know, not cancel, but deal with the weaknesses?
So when we talk about healing, and in the way that I work in my healings, and I very much focus on energetic healing. So all of our thoughts, all of our emotions, all of the experiences that we've had are they have an energetic attachment to them, and we hold that energy within us, right?
Mhm.
And so in order for us to truly build and to truly expand and to truly keep moving forward, it's necessary to be able to release the energy that no longer serves us, to release the past, what I call trauma, to release that past trauma, so that it makes space for all of the stuff that you want to bring in. Because it's almost like the house built on, I can't remember, I'm so bad with cliches, but it's like the house built on sand, the house built on cards, right? If your foundation isn't strong, whatever you put on top of it, it'll fall and it'll crash. And the worst thing that can happen is it crashes when you are kind of headed and making momentum, right? So you want to make sure your foundation is as strong as possible. And we do that by healing first, removing that doesn't serve you, and then making sure you understand where your powers are so that you have that strong foundation to keep moving forward.
Mm. That's really a really powerful metaphor.
Thanks.
I'm about to use that today, maybe.
Awesome. Yeah, use it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because everything, I think we are all in, it's interesting because I'm so guilty of this too, and I have to constantly step back and remind myself, foundation is so important. And if we're not building strong foundations, everything that we build on, it's capable of cracking at any point, right? So you definitely want to be able to take that time now to build the foundation so that you can keep moving forward and adding more success to your building or whatever it is you're building, creating.
So, so just kind of switching gears, what does, vision, either for your life or for 5 years, 1 year, what does the vision look like for you?
So that's such a great question, because I recently did this exercise and it falls right in line to it in terms of like what your truth is, meaning like what you are destined or meant to do, right? So my vision is that ultimately the impact that I have is of mass impact. And it's really out there to help others that is going through similar situations that I've gone through, and to be able to really give them the tools like I've shared today, like to give them the tools that they can use to be able to start enhancing their lives, to be able to start helping them be able to achieve their fullest and their maximum potential, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of help them realize that whatever they've been told about themselves that doesn't feel right to them is all, and I don't know if I can say this, but it's all BS. Like it's all just stories that they've been told because other people have either wanted to keep them down, maybe not intentionally, but subconsciously, because, of fears that other people had and they wanted to protect them. So there's all these differing factors of why they were told the story, but what other people tell them is not necessarily their story. And it's so powerful because when people realize that they have that ability to control their lives, it's just a transformative experience. And so for me, 5 years down the road, I definitely want to be able to help like a whole, I want to say massive amounts of people, like millions of people, be able to understand all of this is within their control.
Nice. In addition to that, so what does success mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's a question everybody should be asking themselves. What does success mean to, them, right? Because everybody's definition of success is different. Yeah. And at this time, it's basically mastering my craft. It's being able to support my family. It's being able to master my craft, being able to touch people, not like physically, but to impact people and help them. And then still being able to enjoy my life, like live it to the fullest possible extent. So, and spending that time with my family, being able to laugh. I mean, all of these things, I know it may sound a little bit cliche, but at the end of the day, it's not waking up every morning feeling like I can't do this for the rest of my life. It's waking up every morning feeling like I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to do this for the rest of my life, because I know that what's waiting for me a year or 5 years down the road is just even, something I can't imagine, because it's so beyond amazing.
I think one of the things that I was reading when I was looking and researching you was your challenges that you like to do and that you have going on. Can you tell us a little bit more about some challenges you have going on right now?
Yeah, sure. So I have right now my Pivot to Passion Challenge, which is so aligned with everything that we've been talking about. Now, it's really helping people through the simple process of releasing what they thought, like releasing the beliefs that they always carried with them, that their wildest dreams couldn't come true, right? Helping them tap into what it is that lights them up, and helping them get in touch with what it is that they would do if money or job description or, society were never an issue. Like if they could snap their fingers and figure out what they wanted to do, that's what they would do. And then really helping them tap into their zone of genius so that they can start to capitalize on it. Because, and when I say capitalize, I'm not, there's such a negative connotation to it, but it's more like being able to bring in more income, bring in more abundance. And so whatever the abundance that they're looking for, whether that's love or family or, some kind of career success, whatever it is, to do that with ease and flow. Because so often what I see people doing is that they're constantly pushing a boulder up a hill. And this boulder constantly weighs on their shoulder, and the progress that they make is minuscule, right? So when you start to be able to release that boulder and walk up that hill without it, everything comes easily. You're able to achieve and get to that peak a lot more easier. I want to say fluidly, but a lot easy. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so this challenge really is helping people through the steps to get there, and then be able to get in touch with them, like with their heart space. Like a lot of what I do is very much heart-centered, heart-spaced, getting in there, getting rid of the ego, getting rid of the rational mind, and really feeling into what it is that drives them. Because so often, I won't say how old I am, although people can probably guess, but like I've had more than 40 years of being driven by here, that, it's time to go here to really find that passion and joy and fulfillment.
I really appreciate your time today. It
Oh,
was
you're
really
welcome.
great. Where can people go to either learn more about you? Where can they go to connect with you further?
Yeah, sure. So I have a website. It's jeantien.com. And I'm also super present on LinkedIn. So if they look for me there, I will definitely be there. And I also have a Facebook group. But yeah, they can totally reach out on LinkedIn, because I know this is where the platform is anyway. And so come find me, connect with me, and then I'd be happy to answer anyone's questions there.
Cool. Can you spell your name for the people who
Sure.
can't?
Yeah, sure. Good suggestion. It's Jean. That's the first name. And then the last name is Tien. T as in Thomas, I-E-N as in Nancy.
All right, cool. If you want, you can promote your group, because this is going on YouTube and it's going to be seen on Facebook as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So I would love to invite everybody to my group called Revolutionizing Corporate Women. It is a space, it's a very safe space where corporate women are coming to expand past the restrictions of corporate molds, the restrictions of society, so that basically I come on every day, I share tips and tools like the ones that I've shared today to help these women really just be their best and fullest self, and help them achieve whatever it is they're working towards. And a lot of them, it's interesting because a lot of them are just tired of the corporate, and they're looking to find that avenue that they can use to create income, to implement creativity, do all the things that they are not able to get out of the corporate space.
Excellent. Once again, I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Bryce. This was super fun. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. You're welcome. And, for those watching, we really appreciate your time. And we thank you for taking the time and investing it to help yourself improve. Now, if you want to go and join a community where people are improving and helping others do the same, I recommend you go check out our community. This can be linked either above or below the video. It's just a community where we're basically building a mastermind, people coming together and supporting and uplifting each other every single day. So if that is what you've been searching for, I recommend you go check out our community either above or below the video. Is going to be a link to it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed creating it. Feel free to have a great day. and share this information with people who, could benefit from it. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. We're done recording in 3 and 2 and